Yup, I am Fazbear, and you remember the other video I was talking about how good Flamethrower is? Yeah, so this one isn't gonna be as nice. We're gonna go through basically just a lot of bullshit you go through with playing Flamethrower. Well, we're gonna go right now and we're gonna talk about basically the things you can't do, obviously the things you can do, but limitations, and also how the range is, the damage. You're going to talk about everything. Okay? Okay. So, without further ado, let's go. Okay, so I would say you're not going to DPS anybody with the flamethrower, right? You versus a Lewis, you versus CO40, you're they're going to do way more damage than you. You're not going to, out DPS, right? Just saying. That's why the weaknesses for flamethrower is minigun. There's no way you're winning a 1v1 with minigun without throwing in some melees and some movement. Lewis. Lewis is way too fast, way too good for long range if they got a decent amount of aim, and incredibly insane when it comes up to close range. You're not going to win that. I would say like those are the main two guns you have to worry out for. M11 too, because that shit is very, very quick. But if you get the first hit, they're not going to beat you, right? Like, look at this right here. Melee, winch, kick, and kick. Hit again. See how the movement is? See how the movement is? The medium could have meleeed me, but since I backed up and I turned to the right a little, turned to the left a little bit, it gave me more time to the flame to actually get its afterburn. And to be honest, that's really the main thing that kind of, you can say that farms is the afterburn. So when it comes up to damage, you're not DPS and shit. We're going to keep this part short because everybody knows this. You're not, if you're running flamethrower and you're saying, "Oh my god, I'm doing all this damage," no, you're not gonna do. You're not gonna out damage anybody. You might get damaged because you're in fights hitting multiple people. You know, hitting multiple people can allow you to farm damage. But we're talking about damage to one person as they're damaging you. So if a Lewis gun is shooting you and you don't move and you're flamethrowing a person with the Lewis gun, you're not going to do as much damage as they're going to do to you. So we're going to move on to now for range. Range is whew, this really bad. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like you can say flamethrower is medium range, but then even saying that is very very like I don't know, very very weird because it's not like that easy when you can just somebody is a little bit leaning a little bit far away from me, I can hit them. No, I don't know if it's like the decent, or like I don't know if like the game sometimes just don't really channel your hitboxes, but that's why we'll normally do this, right? We'll winch, we'll get into their box, get into their square, and we'll box them. You don't really want them to stay far away. You know, that's just what you would do with the flamethrower. And that's why a winch is very, very vital for flamethrower. Because if a light dashes away, you're gonna want your mans to clean them up. But sometimes you're gonna have to clean up the lights. You're the heavy. Like you're the heavy. You should be the one that's able to clean up the lights if necessary. If you can't clean up the lights, that's fine. But you shouldn't be, you know, if you get what I'm saying, having anyone else clean up that the lights. That's just no, like that should not be happening. Like that ass. Just no. Well, I would say on a rooftop, no, that's very, very bad. That's why you need RPG. RPG is very, very good. I'm gonna just be honest. RPG goes very, very good because it gives you a lot of burst, long range damage. I would say barricade is very, very good because that's a good deployable that you can put down at any time and remove when it gets damaged and put down again. You know why it's very, very good? Because 100% of the times, if you are dueling someone or fighting someone who is long range, you would need the barricade, not the dome shield. You would need the barricade because you need something for shield. That's why ghoul gun. You can say ghoul gun is very good with flame, but at the same time, who knows? Who really knows? You know, who really knows? I don't really use ghoul gun with flame because ghoul gun can be very inconsistent when it's in my hands. But hey, we all know. But range, oh my god, you like range is the reason why Flamethrower really gets like terrible, like it's really shit on because like if they like for example this season, right? I win somebody, they're able to kick me, right? So right now I'm like fuck. They run faster than me. They're going to escape my range on the flamethrower. So that's one nerf, right? Then I'm like, damn, they nerfed the winch because as soon as they get like free from the winch, they're not stunned. They're only stunned for 0.25 seconds. That's basically the same time as I get for me to make an action. So boom, as soon as they're off the winch, they get to dash away. They get to kick you. They get to shoot you. They get to slide. They get to do whatever they want. Which I feel like defeats the point. Look, Mink, look how fast I did that. But then it's like, if it wasn't like that, then that would immediately got the kill. If the melee wasn't like that, I would immediately got that kill. Because guess what me kicking them back did? It made them get closer to the hills and made them automatically be able to regroup because now I kicked them back together. And yes, Flamethrower is good when everybody's together, but there's certain circumstances where it's like if I kick a light and they dash the same way that I kicked them, I can't chase them. I can't kill them. I can't do anything after that. I generally can't. There's no way I can compete with a dashing light who has momentum. It's just impossible. Like, this just impossible. Movement is actually good. So, right? Movement is actually good. And I want to explain how actually good movement is. So basically, right? For example, how fast you can shoot with the minigun, right? Decent, but you ain't schmoving around. You ain't sliding to the left. You ain't sliding to the right. You ain't schmoving the way you do on Flamethrower or Lewis gun or any other gun. You're not schmoving with that. Even with Sledgehammer, you're not schmoving with the minigun like you do Sledgehammer. You ain't like that, and you can't be like that. That's just not how that works. But I would say the movement ain't too crazy because like it's not like you're moving that above base speed, But shit, the movement is very good. You can slide melee, you can slide kick. You can create that into your own combo. Like, like you can actually do things that's very, very kind of good with that. Generally, one issue though. Look at the schmovement. But like generally, like I'm gonna keep it a buck. The range is not gonna make you cook nobody. Like long range, not gonna smooth. You can do that in long range. Like I ain't gonna lie, I'm not trying to gas up the movement. You ain't gonna do that in long range of that. But if you wanna dodge some bullets real quick, you can start FOVing real quick, start fucking slide canceling and shit, jumping and shit, jumping through rules and shit. There's so many times where I kick, when I flame, kick, melee, kick, and I slide as soon as I finish the kick. So I would flamethrower, kick, slide, flame, kick, slide, and that's OP because it locally like it does what the winch claw was always doing, which is 100% right. Disrupting, well, to me, which I feel like is the actual meaning, but to me, disruption is what you do that stops an action from being done. So if you're going on a zip line and I winch you and you get off that zip line, that's disruption. And I feel like kicking is low-key good for the flamethrower in some situations because you're able to disrupt their actions. You want to you want to run up to me? Kick, slide, flame, kick. That's a decent combo because it messes up their aim. It messes up their aim a little bit. Unless they got a whole shotgun and they're gonna blast your ass to infinity, maybe even beyond. But we're gonna see, right? And I feel like the movement is just like one thing that's a very, very good plus for Flamethrower. Flamethrower as you're shooting, because minigun, you can still move faster with the minigun. You can still move base speed with the minigun, but not as you're shooting. With the Flamethrower, I can move pretty well. But yeah, that's really it for movement. Is nothing too crazy though. By the way, if you want to see more of this before I continue, like, subscribe, show some love to the gang. Show some love to the gang if you want to see more videos like this. Not gonna lie, I need a better mic. I really do need a better mic now that I am talking about it. I kind of do need a better mic. My Amazon might see me today. Y'all might cancel me for saying this, but I believe out of 5, which is max difficulty, a Flamethrower is a good low 4. And I would say it's a good low 4 because, right? Stay with me. Let me cook. Hear me out. And this is a good hear me out because I got an actual decent reason. So I feel like Flamethrower difficulty is a 4 out of 5 because, one, the range is absolutely terrible. For a Flamethrower in a game that's normally medium range, this Flamethrower is actually short range. So you really not going to really do too much. The damage is the same close or not. The afterburn usually was kicking, but you're not really going to do much. You would think the closer you get to a Flamethrower, the more damage you would do, but no. So you're not DPSing, right? So if a person gets close to you, you would still get shot on because you don't do that much damage. So now, yes, the close range weapons normally do more damage close range, but this close range weapon does not do as much damage close range. So now, what you thought is a pro by it being close range is actually not a pro. Because even if you are close to somebody, you're going through the same exact damage you are if you are kind of a little bit far from somebody, right? Also, right? The only good thing about the Flamethrower is the AoE and the movement. You have to have a decent amount of knowledge, right? You saw what I did right there for just one kill? Like, bro, you saw how much, you see what I have to do for just one kill? Like, you have to be able to combo with Flamethrower, right? You cannot run Flamethrower and not build your whole loadout around Flamethrower. So I feel like that makes it go up 2 difficulties, because a lot of guns, if you're good with the gun, you can run it however you want to run it. But it doesn't matter how good you are with the game. If you run Flamethrower, one, you need to run a kit that works with Flamethrower, and then if you're running Flamethrower, you low-key need a team that's low-key decent enough to work with you as you're playing Flamethrower. Like, you need teammates who's going to run long range. You need teammates who might want to heal, who might want to support you, right? Because if you're getting gunned down by long range, you're standing there looking like a nobody because you actually can't do anything. You generally cannot do anything if you're trying to go in hospital, right? And if they're shooting down on you from hospital, you generally cannot do anything but let your other people shoot. And you do not want to race to RPG, so you might want to, jump pad RPG with the Flamethrower, but you can only do that if you actually have a medium who will go jump pad. So that goes another star. So that's already 4 stars, because one, the knowledge, it goes up 2 stars because you generally, the buff is supposed to be close range, but there is no buffs for Flamethrower close range because you generally cannot do more damage in close range, and weapons who are close range do so much damage that they can out DPS you in a couple quickly in a couple seconds. It's absolutely disgusting how out of all the close range weapons, Flamethrower is one of the close range weapons that does not do more damage as close they are. It's literally the same. Base damage will always be the base damage no matter how close or how far you are. And just, if you're working as a team, Flamethrower is very, very good. Like, generally, Flamethrower is very good as you're working as a team. But since a lot of the times you're gonna get randoms. If you're like playing with me, you're gonna get randoms. A lot of people is gonna look at you, say you're playing Flamethrower, and say you're shit, and then they'll try to like, not work with you. Like Flamethrower is known as a throw pick. So if you go Flamethrower, they're most likely going to want to throw the game. Hold up. What makes this, I feel like the knowledge. It's the knowledge that makes this gun very, very difficult. Because look, right? Depending on what's nerfed and what's not nerfed, depends if Flamethrower is good or not. So for example, they nerfed melee, right? The melee does not do as much damage, right? So now when I try to like one-shot lights with one combo, I can't. Right? I can one-shot them, but I have to do it way different. And like I would say 4 out of 10 times they escape because I just can't. Right? As you can see the clip before, the clip way back, I meleeed, right? That was supposed to do 40 damage, but since it does half of that, bro left with about maybe 10 health, 20 health, and I was like, bro, he just died. 40 plus the afterburn, that's like 50 to 60 some damage. Like there's no way he survived that. But yeah, like I feel like the knowledge, the combos, Flamethrower ain't so you can just shoot. You can't just run up and shoot Flamethrower. You have to combo. No, this much melee is for heavy, this much melee is for light, this much melee for medium. But I don't want to make this video too long. I'm gonna do a part 2. There's a lot of L's, right? Flamethrower can take. Like and subscribe. Show me some love. And of course, you know me, but I'm just Ion Cosplay, and I will see you in the next video.